Last week we discussed how an appraiser uses rental comps to determine a property's value based on its rental income. This is just one of 3 approaches that an appraiser will use when preparing their assessment of the property. If you missed that video, be sure to check it out. The link will be in the notes below. Another approach that is used is called the sales comparison approach. And this is the one that is used most often when looking at 1 to 4 unit residential properties. The challenging part of this approach is that when you look for comparable properties to use, it can be difficult to find an exact match. That's why appraisers will make various value adjustments to different characteristics of the property, such as the square footage, number of bedrooms and bathrooms, and other important property features. I like to study these adjustments because it helps me to be a better real estate agent and a better real estate investor. Today I'm going to take you through some actual appraisals so you can see how this plays out in real life. If you want to learn more, then stick around for the fun. What's up everybody, John Stiles here with Bridge Realty, helping people like you buy, sell, and invest in multifamily real estate in the Twin Cities. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I really appreciate it. Today we're going to take another look at the 2 appraisals that were done on my triplex in Minneapolis. These are the same appraisals that we looked at last week when we were talking about rental comps. So this is the appraisal done in 2015, and I'm going to scroll down to page 3 here. Page 1 again is where it just explains some details about the property. Page 2 is where we look at the rental comps. And then page 3 is where we get into the sales comparables. So you'll see here on the left column is our subject property, has the sale price, square footage, rental income, and a lot of other features. Then in the subsequent columns 1, 2, and 3, we have the sales comparables. And there's actually an addendum that has additional comps, and these ones are pending sale. So it's just additional information to reference. Okay, back to page 3 here. Now, one thing that I mentioned in the previous video is that it's always interesting to me how far away an appraiser will go in order to find the comparables. You'll see right here, proximity to subject, and our first comp is 0.7 miles away. The next one is 0.86 miles away, and then the third comp is 3.69 miles away. And that one just really blows my mind. You know, how is it that the appraiser decided to go that far away? If I scroll down to page 12 of the report, it says that FNMA, which is, I believe, the Federal National Mortgage Association, suggests comparables within 6 months, 1 mile, and have a gross adjustments less than 25%. And then the appraiser says it was necessary to exceed the desired 1 mile distance and net gross adjustment guidelines due to a lack of more recent sales of similar triplexes, which are located in the subject defined market area. And then the appraiser continues to make a comment down here on page 13 that my search criteria was expanded to include the entire city of Minneapolis, triplexes, and sales within past 2 years. So that just kind of shows you, when you're dealing with unique properties, for example, there's fewer triplexes to do comps with, that sometimes the appraiser will have to go beyond the area that they were originally supposed to stay within. Now I'm going to jump over to the 2020 appraisal, and you can see again here, this is the subject property. The first comparable is 0.45 miles away, the second comparable is 0.96 miles away, and then the third comparable is 1.66 miles away. Again, they had to go beyond the 1 mile suggested radius, but at least in this one, they didn't have to go 3.69 miles away. All right, now going back to the 2015 appraisal, on the left side of the report, you can see various categories such as the location, view, actual age, etc., etc. And this is where we start to see adjustments. So our first one is on location, and we can see that the subject property is listed as an urban location, and the subsequent comparables are talked about as an equal location, and then a superior location. So this is the one that's further away. And so the appraiser in this case makes an adjustment of $10,000 down from this sales price in order to make this location equal to the subject property. So that's our first adjustment. The 2020 appraiser also made an adjustment on location. Our subject property is referred to as average. Comp number 1 is also average. Comp 2 is average. And comp number 3 is considered good. And in this case, the appraiser makes an adjustment down of negative $34,250. So they're taking this sale price of $685 and bringing it down by $34,000 in order to make that equal to our subject property. Now I'm back again at the 2015 appraisal, and the next adjustment that's made is for the view. And so something that's interesting about this property, it is right next to the highway, and so we have a freeway wall or a sound wall that is up in front of our property. There's no neighbors across the property, but we do have to look upon this wall. So in comp number 1, they're saying that the view is residential, and they make an adjustment down of $5,000. And the subsequent comparables have residential traffic and residential traffic. The 2020 appraiser doesn't make any adjustments for the view. They're just saying they're residential, residential, residential. So that's kind of interesting. You know, it's all in the eye of the beholder what you're going to see with your view. Going back to the 2015 appraisal, the next adjustment we see is for actual age. So the subject property is built in 2016, so it's 9 years old at the time of this appraisal. And as I've mentioned before, a lot of the properties in this neighborhood are 100 years old or 120 years old. So in comp number 1, that's 115 years old. And so the appraiser makes an adjustment of $20,000 upward in favor of our comp. He does the same thing for this comp number 2, which is around 112 years old. Again, $20,000 up. In comp number 3, this is where it becomes clear why this appraiser went so far away. You know, this was the 3.69 miles away in order to include this comp. And that's because it was also 9 years old. And so the appraiser doesn't make any adjustment to this comp. Looking at the 2020 appraisal, now the property is 14 years old. And when looking at comp number 1, that's 106 years old, this appraiser makes an adjustment of $50,000 and also does the same thing for comp number 2, $50,000 up. Then he was able to include this property that was only 15 years old. So again, that's why he went 1.66 miles away in order to find this property. And he does not make any adjustment in the age for this comp. Going back to the 2015 appraisal, the next adjustment is for condition. The appraiser suggests that our subject property is in average condition. Comp number 1 is also average. Comp number 2 is average. Comp number 3 is average. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down to page 10 so you can see that condition here is also average, average, average. So no adjustments there. Now looking at the 2020 appraisal, the condition line item, they're saying the subject property is good. All these are good, average, good. So no adjustments there. But if I jump down to page 9 here, the condition of this one is average/good. And so in this case, the appraiser adjusts up $25,000. So back in the 2015 appraisal, the next adjustment that is made is on the gross building area or the finished square footage. So our subject property is about 3927. The next one is 3630, which is an adjustment of 5940. The next comp is 2775, which is a difference of 23,000. And the next comp is 3676, which is an adjustment of 5,020. So what this is just a adjustment of $20 per square foot. And you can get this by subtracting one of the comps from the subject property, seeing what the difference is, and then multiplying by that $20. Looking at the 2020 appraisal, it's interesting, the building apparently shrunk because this appraiser only measured 3820, but looking at comparable number 1, it's 3836. So that's just a minute adjustment. The appraiser doesn't bother making any value adjustment there. But on comparable number 2, that property has 2850 square feet. So that's an adjustment of 14,000, then an adjustment of 8,700 on the next one. And if you do the math on this one, that's an adjustment of just $15 per square foot. So a slightly different opinion on the value of a square foot from this appraiser. Now I'm back at the 2015 report, and the next adjustment that's made is on the mixture of bedrooms and bathrooms. So our subject property has 3 bedrooms, 1.5 baths in each of the 3 units. Now looking at the other properties, there's quite a mixture and difference. This one has 2 units that are 4 bedroom, 1 baths, and then 1 unit that's 2 bedroom, 1 bath. And so interestingly, the adjustment here is -4 plus 4. It seems that this might be made solely based on the number of bedrooms, because it's just simply $4,000 as there is a difference in number of bedrooms. And then he doesn't make any adjustment here on the number of bathrooms, although he also makes an adjustment at the top, which seems to be kind of just the mixture of units. Then on the next property, the adjustment is $8,000, and that's because there's only 1 bedroom instead of 3. On the next property, it's the same exact unit mixture, so there's no adjustments here. Looking at the 2020 appraisal, we can see in comp number 1, it also has 3 bedrooms in each unit, but only 1 bathroom instead of 1.5 bathrooms. Again, this is where this appraiser calls a half bathroom 0.1. That's just a different way, so different appraisers report bathrooms different ways. But anyways, so they made an adjustment of $2,500. So it seems that this adjustment is made because of the half bathroom. So that's kind of the value there. And this comp was used even though it's a 4-plex. So in this case, the appraiser makes an adjustment of $150,000 for that 1 unit. So that's really an interesting piece of information there. Then we look at comp number 2. It has 2 bedrooms, 1 bath in this unit. So we get the $2,500 adjustment for the half bath and then a $20,000 adjustment for 1 bedroom. And that is a huge difference from the 2015 appraiser, where he was adjusting at $4,000 for a bedroom. So a big difference of opinion there. Here in comp number 3, this one has 3.5 baths, and so they made an adjustment of $10,000. So we can kind of calculate that the half bathroom is the same. So if you make the difference of 1 bathroom compared to 3 bathrooms, that's a difference of 2. So it looks like the appraiser is making an adjustment of $5,000 per full bathroom. And that would be consistent with this rental unit here, where it's got the same number of bedrooms, same number of half baths, but it has 2 full bathrooms instead of 1 full bathroom. And so this is an adjustment of $5,000. Okay, the next adjustment on the 2015 report is on the basement. Now it's interesting to me because in my property, it's again 3 units, and each unit has its own level. The lower unit is on the whole lower level, the basement. You have to go downstairs to get to it. There's only a small amount of unfinished space there, basically just underneath the stairway to get there. And this appraiser is saying that there is no basement. It's basically stating that this is a slab on grade property, which is interesting because there's definitely below grade square footage there. But anyways, in our comparable number 1, it does have a full unfinished basement, and so they're making an adjustment of $2,000 for that unfinished basement. They do that again on comp number 2, and they don't do that for comp number 3 because that's likely a very similar property to the one we're working with. Looking at comp number 2, this appraiser gives a more accurate description that this is a full basement and it's included in the gross building area. They're saying it's 1,212 finished square feet. And then looking at the comps, it's full, not finished, full, not finished, full, finished, and it's included in the gross building area. So in this case, they're not making any adjustments for basement square footage. Okay, so the next adjustment in the 2015 appraisal is for heating and cooling. My subject property has gas, forced air, and central air. So looking at the comp number 1, same thing, so there's no adjustment there. Comp number 2 has also gas, forced air, but no central air. So that's an adjustment of $2,000. And looking over here at the 2020 appraisal, heating and air, this property has baseboard heat and no AC. So that's an adjustment of $10,000. Forced air, no AC is $10,000. So a big difference of opinion there as well regarding what AC is worth. Okay, the next adjustment on the 2015 report is on the parking. And my subject property has a 3-car garage. There's 1 for each unit. In our comparable number 1, it has a 2-car garage. And so this appraiser makes an adjustment of $2,000 for that 3rd stall. The same thing for comp number 2. Comp number 3 has a 3-car garage, so there's no adjustment there. Looking at comps number 4 and 5 in this 2015 report, it's the same thing of a $2,000 adjustment for a 3rd stall. Now when I get over to the 2020 report, the comp number 1 does not have a garage at all, and so this appraiser makes an adjustment of $30,000, or basically $10,000 per garage stall. Same thing for comp number 2. Comp number 3 does have a 3-car garage, and so there's no adjustment there. One thing to note here, I think you would typically see a smaller adjustment on adding a 3rd stall versus adding 3 stalls altogether. Going back to the 2015 report, the next adjustment that is made is on the porch, patio, or deck. So I have a front porch that all of the unit doors open up onto, and comp number 1 doesn't have a porch, so they make an adjustment upwards of $1,000. There's no adjustment on comps number 2 and 3. When I go down to comp number 4, this one does have 2 porches or decks, and that's an adjustment down of $2,000. And comp number 5 doesn't have a porch or a deck, so that's an adjustment up of $1,000. Looking at the 2020 report, this comp number 1 has no porch or deck, and so that's an adjustment of $2,500. There's no adjustment on comp 2 and 3. There's no adjustment on comp number 4. So as you can see, there's a number of different levers that the appraiser can pull when they look at a property and see differences in property characteristics. When you look from one year to the next, the values of these adjustments definitely change, and they can also be different when you talk to one appraiser and another. So you can't just take the numbers that I've provided here and apply them to your property, because your property is going to be in a different location where these property characteristics will hold a different value. So I hope that was interesting to you. I hope that was helpful. As you study your local market that you're investing in, you can make adjustments for value based on the information that you gather as well. If you want to see more videos about business, mindset, and investing in multifamily real estate, then be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'm planning to post videos here weekly. And hit the bell if you want to get notified about the next one when it comes out. And remember, your reality is your decision. So let's get out there and make it happen.